Welcome to Light and Shadow. I'm Indigo, and this week I'd like to talk about how trauma forms the beliefs that we live by. And these beliefs are called underlying beliefs or core beliefs. In this video, we are going to talk about what are underlying or core beliefs, how these beliefs form, how they show up in our everyday lives, and how they shape our realities and our sense of self. Starting at the beginning, what are underlying beliefs or core beliefs? Core beliefs are the beliefs that we carry about ourselves, others, or the world around us. And there are so many core beliefs that we can have that come up for so many different reasons and in so many different ways that the list really is endless. I do have a list here that is front and back even, and it's still not even scratching the surface of how many different core beliefs there are. So I'm going to read a couple off of the different categories that I have here just to touch bases on a couple of them, and let's see if you guys relate with any of them. So we've got I'm not enough, I don't matter, I'm not lovable, I'm a burden, my needs don't matter, I have to earn love, if I'm not perfect, I'll be rejected, I'm not safe, I can't trust anybody, conflict means I'm unsafe, love has to be earned, no one understands me, I have to change who I am to be accepted, I have to prove my worth to be loved, I'm only valuable when needed, overcommitting is how I stay in control, avoiding confrontation keeps me safe, conflict is dangerous, I'm broken, damaged, and I am the problem. And again, that is only a couple from all of the different categories that I have on this list. That wasn't even all of them. And my list doesn't even cover all of them at all. So if you relate with any of those, then we have to start getting to the bottom of why we relate with them, which also leads us into how these beliefs form. There are so many different ways and reasons that these beliefs start to form, and a lot of them start in childhood, although I'm coming to realize as I get older that these core beliefs can continue to develop throughout our lives, and even I personally am still actively dismantling them as they're trying to form in my life. So again, a lot of them start in childhood, and I'm going to just use childhood as the example in this video. Although, again, they can form throughout the rest of our lives as well. And again, I'm going to use childhood as the example, and specifically my childhood as the example, because that's how I can relate. And then you guys can relate it to your own lives in whatever way you need to. So when I was young, my parents were very inconsistent, unpredictable, and eventually abandoned me altogether. They were using substances and alcohol, and they were both neglectful, as well as my dad was physical. So that created a very hostile and, again, unpredictable, unstable environment in so many different ways. And as I grew, these unpredictable experiences and environments created beliefs with inside myself, such as I can't trust anybody, I'm not enough, and my needs don't matter. And these thoughts and beliefs about not being enough, not being able to trust anybody, and my needs not mattering, not English, all come from, again, my needs not mattering comes from the neglect and the constant wonder about if I'm going to have to take care of myself or if someone else is going to take care of me. The I can't trust anyone comes from the unpredictable and inconsistency of them, and the fact that they always tell me that it's going to get better and then it doesn't. And in fact, a lot of times it got worse. And so I can't trust what they say. And again, eventually they abandoned me altogether, and I didn't see them until I was a teenager. From being 8 years old, I didn't see them until I was a teenager. And so being abandoned altogether, after knowing that they were doing substances and drinking and all sorts of things, it planted the idea inside of me. Excuse me, trying not to get emotional. It planted the idea inside of me that I wasn't worth staying for, and that I wasn't important enough, that relying on people meant that I would get hurt, and that I would have to carry everything on my own, because if I didn't, then everything would fall apart, and I couldn't rely on anybody. Again, it's right back to that. I can't rely on anybody to help me, so I have to carry everything myself. And again, these deeper beliefs formed because of the consistent inconsistency of them, and the unpredictable environments, as well as being abandoned altogether. The fact that there were other things that were more important and took priority over taking care of me. And so again, that is how those beliefs formed inside of me. And of course, that's the quick version. And that's basically the gist, though. We don't need to get into any more of that, of course, unless you guys want to hear more about all of that. Let me know. All of that being said, though, those things eventually lead us into having, again, thoughts about ourselves, others, and the world around us. And eventually, these thoughts and beliefs about all three of those aspects start to shape our reality and our sense of self through our choices and reactions. There are so many ways that these beliefs can show up in our everyday lives right now, and I have a small list here again as to how those show up. The list is absolutely endless, though, which is again why it's so important for us to take a look at why we are choosing and why we are responding to the things that we're choosing to do and the way that we're responding to things, because that can truly help us reshape our reality and our deeper sense of self in the world. So again, if you avoid asking for help because you feel like your needs don't matter or you're a burden, that's one of the ways that these deeper core beliefs can show up in life nowadays. Overworking to prove you are enough or that you deserve love. If you feel like you just cleaned the house more or made dinner more or showed up more in different ways. If you just did something a little nicer or this, that, and the other. Pulling back in relationships because you're scared that people will leave or hurt you. That is a sign of these patterns showing up as well. Obviously, the fact that people will always leave, the fact that you have to change so that people will love you, and many more, of course. Avoiding speaking up because it will cost you connection. If keeping quiet is how you keep the peace, then you're not keeping the peace for the whole situation. You're only keeping peace for one person, which is usually not yourself. So again, how these beliefs show up. And the last one that I have for right now is fixing others' things before your own, because your value comes from taking care of others or fixing things. If you find yourself taking care of others' situations or problems before your own, then that is again a deeper core belief, probably leading to the fact that you feel like you're not enough, like your needs don't matter, like your value comes from helping others, probably from a caretaker role, and so many more, of course. So those are the examples that I had for that for right now. And again, the core beliefs and all of the things that we do because of these core beliefs end up shaping the lens that we experience life itself through. And we will then filter every experience and interaction that we have through these beliefs. And we will constantly look for confirming evidence as to these beliefs being true, which again is why it's so important to notice the beliefs that we do have, the ones that we carry throughout everyday life, because they are the magnet that brings things into our lives. And if we notice the ones that we are carrying are not good for us, and they are not benefiting us in any way, then that is our job to rewrite those beliefs in a way that rewrites our reality to be what we want it to be, and therefore rewrites the choices, reactions, and the magnet, therefore bringing those things into our lives. I know that I have so many beliefs about myself, others, and the world that I'm constantly rewriting, and I hope that you guys go through to look at that for yourselves as well. I would love to hear the beliefs that you carry now, or what you would like to change them to in the comments below, or any thoughts, questions, concerns that you have, and I will see you guys next week.